I said, give me a hell yeah.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a brand invading, Adam Cole punching, Shmoz ending episode of the Brothers of Discussion. We're going to talk everything from the recent job the writing team's been doing, a great job, by the way, preview AEW's Full Gear card, and talk about the first ever women's War Games match for NXT. I'm Michael. Matt, you're my brother. How the heck are you?
I'm doing swell. Mike, we arguably had one of the, since this show has started, I think one of the best weeks in pro wrestling, and God bless it all, because we also have a pay-per-view on a Saturday night, and it's not on a Sunday, and I think we should all thank our lucky stars that that's the case. But if you want to thank your lucky stars that we exist, please go on over to BOD Podcast first and check out everything there. Go to brothersofdiscussion.com, bodpodcast.com, and it has been updated a little bit because you can also find Brothers of Discussion Hockey on there, which is known as the Discussion 5, brought to you by the
That's what
Brothers
I call
of Discussion and the Hockey Podcast Network. So go over there and check that out. Let's see. What else do we have? We have at BOD Podcast on Twitter. We have the Facebook page, the Brothers of Discussion, and the Instagram page, which we kind of just double up now for all the Instagram memes. On Instagram, we are brothers_of_discussion. And we also have our live wrestling discussion group, which is just that, the live wrestling discussion
live
with
with
spoilers.
the group, and there's discussing. What else do you need, guys? Come on.
But with that said, we are nominated. I just thought of this, so it might take a second for me to. If you go to our Twitter, BOD Podcast, at BOD Podcast, you can find it pinned, I believe, on our page. If you could vote for us for one best duo wrestling podcast, because we're nominated for the Wrestling Podcast Awards. So let me get that out there. The best duo, best comedy podcast.
Oh,
And best podcast of the year. Yes. And then we've also had some write-ins for two of our interviews, so feel free to write those in too. But yeah, go find the Wrestling Podcast Awards. We have it on our Twitter. We'd greatly appreciate the vote, and we would love an award for that. So cheers to that. I've got a beer in hand, so literally cheersing as we speak. Mike, let's talk some wrestling. Let's jump right in because we have so much to talk about, and it's actually great news. Even our other podcast has been filled with ugly, awful news as we cover the worst hockey team in the NHL.
A lot of sludge. Yep,
So
just a lot of sludge, excrement, diarrhea, and now, Matt, finally, an exciting reason to talk to each other.
Yay!
It's been this WWE writing team, Matt. We're just weeks away from Survivor Series. War Games is almost upon us, and WWE's given the full-on green light to have NXT superstars invade SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. And it's been the most exciting, riveting, thrilling episodes of either of those shows so far to date. I got to say that I think that it's I think that's what they thought they were going to get back when they had the WCW Invasion storylines, but it was like, lower tier WCW stars. You weren't seeing like Goldberg there, for example, because he was, kind of punting on his contract issues and a whole lot of stuff we don't want to really get into. This is the exact opposite. This is everybody who's anybody in NXT showing up. You got Ciampa, you got Matt Riddle, you got Keith Lee, you got Rhea Ripley, you got Shayna Baszler. This is all of NXT's A+ guys and ladies, and they're just totally crashing the party.
Oh boy,
Matt, I
I'm
gotta
so excited.
just break it down. Matt, let me hot tag it to you. Why, in your opinion, has this been such an effective storyline so far?
It's been effective, Mike. And this is not, I don't think this is the answer you're looking for. All creative of the WWE it's been taken away from them because all the pro wrestlers were held up in Saudi Arabia and they had to figure out what to do for the next week.
Oops.
So since it was a happy accident, they just got to throw out all the best pro wrestlers and have them fight each other. And lo and behold, the ratings went up. The fans were actually excited to watch. We had a great show top to bottom for SmackDown. Raw got a little fuzzy in the middle there where the creative got back in charge. But yeah, I think that's what happened is we just got so lucky with the wrestlers getting held up that then they decided to push whatever they were doing on SmackDown because they saw it was so successful. Let's push it over to Raw, which they did for maybe 2/3 of the show. Maybe a third. Maybe that's more accurate. And then, of course, having it move over into our live shows on NXT. But all that, Mike, is because we took all of the months of thinking and planning out just right out the window. And we went, okay, let's improvise. What do we do? And I think that's my answer. That's why this is so great, is because we took all of the thinking that brought us the Rusev cuckold storyline, and even though that's still in there, we took all the other thinking, like the lesser creative effort, off the show, and put in what Tommaso Ciampa said last night is the main roster, infused it. And I think one issue, I'll say two. One thing that makes this better than what it could have been, or what I would guess would be like another way to put this all together kind of thing, is like let's say they wanted Ciampa and Gargano to just like crash the party like they did a few months ago.
Right.
It just felt kind of flat because we really didn't know what was going on with the main roster. There wasn't really a reason to it. They just kind of popped in there. But now there's this idea, or the identity of each brand coming into play here, and which brand is actually the best. And it was a hot storyline last year when Becky Lynch crashed Raw, and as the leader of SmackDown at the time.
Yeah. And
I think now, not just having Ciampa and Gargano show up for no reason, let's have a reason. And I will make the argument too. Bringing up Ciampa is probably the worst thing I could bring up, because that was probably my least favorite part of the whole thing, was Ciampa and the Miz. We'll get into that, but Mike, I mean, I'm sort of rambling, but what did you think? Why is this working?
I think you made a good point about when they kind of thrust Gargano and Ciampa in there initially, gave us Aleister Black and Ricochet, just bam, 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 bam. It just felt like a company kind of testing the waters to see what kind of reactions these guys got. It also felt a little bit like desperation, like, people are really enjoying the storylines of these guys, so let's try to exploit that on, Raw and SmackDown, because the numbers have been dropping. The way they presented this was, we're tired of, Raw and then to a lesser extent SmackDown being the, the premier shows that you get called up. And it's a cool storyline to see, like NXT going, we're on USA also. We get a 2-hour show with real commercials. This is big time. So kind of it's a real battle for pride, I think, for where they've always said, brand supremacy, in past Survivor Series, and it didn't really feel like that, because it felt like SmackDown was the lesser roster because it's on, Tuesday or Friday. And then they'd always lose all the matches. So, it was booked where it wasn't for brand supremacy. It was, it was Big Brother and Little Brother. But now this definitely feels like, especially with the way they booked NXT guys and girls to win, basically do a clean sweep all the way through SmackDown and Raw. it feels like they're definitely trying to show that these are equal, and that they might be, they might even be getting away from that quote unquote call up, and just saying that now we have 3 brands.
Yeah. And I think,
they used to do with ECW, but I think this is much more interesting because it's all the plucky, younger guys who haven't had a chance, on like a WrestleMania, for example.
Well, we brought this up, Mike. I don't know if you remember when NXT first got announced, and we were trying to figure out how could the WWE easily win the Wednesday Night Wars. This was the exact thing that we brought up, was have NXT and Raw and SmackDown go at it at Survivor Series. It's not even like we were close. It's not even like we brought up, we'll have some of the NXT guys fight on Raw and SmackDown. We said, okay, they're all on cable TV, so have them all battle it at Survivor Series, and you'll probably win whatever this war is supposed to be. And I don't know. It was obvious to us then, and I think it's still, that was like the easy decision is legitimize this brand of NXT, and give the fans what they want. You've got so many different things working in every direction with this. You could still infuse Roman Reigns wherever you want. You can have Seth Rollins continue to win, I guess, but then you also get to see Adam Cole and Undisputed Era in the main event. And you got to see Ciampa come out and challenge, even though when he challenged The Miz is kind of... But then, you've got Finn Balor bouncing around.
Miz definitely won that interaction. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to watch, to be honest. I know we want to get into it, but I don't know. Do you want to talk about that first? Because I feel like now we're circling the drain. Let's talk about that Ciampa.
It wasn't Ciampa's best work, but it got him in the ring with Miz. Matt, I'm gonna hot tag you. So far out of this week, who would you say won the week? So we're not including this brand new SmackDown that comes out, probably when you're listening to this episode, but this past Wednesday, Monday, and then the previous Friday. Which person ultimately won the week?
Oh wow! Out of every pro wrestling show?
Yeah, not out of AEW. We're just saying out of this storyline going.
I think the obvious winner is Adam Cole.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, he's even he had to have the OC come out and attack him and his team to take him down, but I mean, he takes down Daniel Bryan clean. That's all he needed. It didn't really even matter what happened with Seth Rollins, and a lot of us right now are discrediting whatever that, I don't know, ending was anyway. So yeah, Adam Cole 1,000% is the winner for me. And again, just the victory over Daniel Bryan. Whatever happened on Raw happened on Raw, but beating Daniel Bryan clean says so much about what they think about Adam Cole and what they want to have happen with NXT, because but bless him too. Like, Daniel Bryan has been talking about this for a while, how he's ready to start, laying down for the younger guys. I think he knows too that his body's wearing down. There's no secret there. And this is a great opportunity for him to finally, stop doing these silly feuds that really aren't accomplishing what we're talking about right now with Adam Cole, getting over, and giving him an opportunity to get in the ring with some real talent. Forget the Eric Rowan stuff. I love the Bludgeon Brothers, or whatever they're going to be now, with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, but
the Bearded Boys.
It means so much more to see Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole going at it. That warmed my heart.
I mean, if Bryan, he's going to be like, John Cena a couple years ago, and he would just, not have a ton of matches, but he would have matches to try and get people over, or at least, battle young guys. I think that'd be a fantastic spot for him. It's hard to not pick Adam Cole as the winner of the week, since he basically was in the main event all 3 nights. But I'm going to say maybe kind of a surprise, Matt, was Matt Riddle. I think it's not necessarily that he was in the most prominent spots, but for me, it kind of felt like, outside of pops for NXT in general, or like when the New Day music hits or the Street Profit music hits, Matt Riddle was getting thunderous ovations for the bro chants. I didn't know this guy was that over. I know it took, you and I a little while to warm up to him, but when he showed up Friday and Monday, I think, it was a lot of excitement. And then Wednesday when he was the hot tag in that 3-on-3 match, woo, man, that stadium was roaring for him. He was electric with his suplexes. The OC and AJ definitely sold the crap out of all his moves. Like the running knees, the bouncing off the corners, the flying forearms, the broton instead of the senton.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're never going to look bad against AJ, but that crowd was just dying for him to get into the match. I don't know whose booking decision that was to have Ciampa take most of the damage for the NXT team and then have Riddle and Keith Lee come in and save the day, but man, just a great decision there. And I didn't think we'd be saying this, but they have something in Riddle, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was somebody to maybe defeat Brock Lesnar someday. Like he got that kind of reaction and adoration. It's really impressive stuff. I don't know if you saw. I think Matthew Botchmania was retweeting some people on the peripheral who were just like, damn, just sharing videos of Riddle's the reaction he got from the crowd. It was really cool. It sounds like this company, they do make mistakes, right, Rusev? But It looks like they're doing something right with this NXT storyline, with propping up Adam Cole and building up Matt Riddle. They're doing it.
No, and that's the thing we have to keep talking about. That what they're doing right now, regardless of how they got into this situation, like I already mentioned, is definitely part of it is the happy accident. And there's a lot of drama to go into how that happy accident came about. So don't get us wrong there. But
I got one more for you.
You could fail it pretty quick, right? You could fail that happy accident right out the gate, and they didn't. So
50-50 booking on Raw or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't do it. Matt, let me ask you a really tough hot tag question. You can only look at half the roster. Well, it's probably like 40% if at best. But which of the women won the week?
Oh, Shayna Baszler, easily takes out Bayley, and gets to have that awesome face-to-face with Becky.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate there. That
they just made her an uber.
I know it's a TV
superstar.
show, but that felt pretty real.
I tweeted out a week ago. I said I've spent the last year probably trying to figure out who's going to take out Shayna, and I guess we are
on NXT.
Right at a year,
I still don't have an answer, but
no. What I tweeted out was I've been trying to figure out who's going to do it, and I said I've decided I never want it to happen. And that was a week ago that I said that, and now she's even that much she's taken that many steps above where she was a week ago. Yeah. I was just so impressed with the work that she did a week ago. Of course, leading into what was going to ultimately turn into the first women's War Games. But
let's pivot into that too, by the way. But go ahead.
Well, we talked about the women's War Games last week too. But do you want to talk about the teams?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm going to piggyback and say that Shayna definitely won. I know we both have big crushes on Rhea Ripley, but she kind of got a little lost in the shuffle being in a tag match with Tegan and, some Shmoz endings. It wasn't, the dominant, Bayley crushing moment that, Shayna got. But yeah,
You would be asking a lot, though, for people to be fans of Rhea Ripley, too. The people who are paying paying that ticket with like 30% of the audience there for somebody else, paying the ticket for SmackDown and Raw, and then to know who Rhea Ripley is. I think she at least had a good introduction on the main roster, where Shayna comes packed with, I'm Ronda Rousey's buddy. I'm part of the 4 Horsewomen. I've been the NXT Women's Champion for on and off for like a year and a half. Like
and
that.
Rhea's like, I look really cool and I have a leather jacket, so yeah.
Nice.
I was NXT UK champion. I was the first one, so but you're right. The resume is much more impressive for Shayna. God, I'm so excited for her to battle like Becky, Charlotte. Oh, but I don't want to see her lose to Charlotte. That triple threat is going to be really, really fun. I'm so excited for all these matchups, Matt. But yeah, let's talk about something a little bit closer to happening. The first ever women's War Games match, and last night they had a match that was supposed to help decide or at least make the decision a little bit easier because Rhea Ripley still got to flesh out her team. Shayna does too. We're going to get to that in a second here, Matt. But it was already geez, oh Pete.
Yes,
God, Rhea was going to be tagging with God. Why did I screw this up? She's going to be with Candice LeRae. And it screwed me up because I keep forgetting. Because I want to give away the fourth person. Because now it's going to be Mia Yim, and Tegan. God, why is it so hard to say this? On the other side, Matt, it's going to be Shayna, Bianca, and Io Shirai. And what's kind of cool is last night they did that match. Dakota Kai was supposed to have her proving ground against Shayna to see if she could earn a spot on Rhea Ripley's team. She ended up losing. But, Matt, I got to say, to muddy the waters a little bit, Shayna still has a vacancy on her team. I think we all thought it would be, one of her buddies from the Four Horsewomen.
Yeah.
Matt, hot tag. How do you feel about Dakota joining Shayna's team?
I mean, the drama would be fun. I guess. Like, you kind of think about it and you go, well, this doesn't really make any sense because you figure if there's anybody on the roster that hates Shayna the most, it's Dakota Kai, based on the story they've told. Like, put her on the shelf for like a year. So, does it make sense? From that perspective, no. But I guess if she wanted to now get back at Rhea, we've told the story before of like when the X-Men have to take down Apocalypse, they have to side with Magneto, and
right.
Like that doesn't always make sense. But it's such a great storyline. Is like you want to get. I just don't know if that is there. Like, why would you hate Rhea Ripley that much when you had to win and you didn't? You know what I mean? Like it's on her. Where
I guess I think you could justify it where she likes stirring the pot a little bit, and I think that she had a really, really competitive match with Dakota. Like they got a pretty good amount of time, and she could say, I'm pretty impressed. Come aboard. You can get your revenge on this team that said you just weren't good enough. Yeah. I think beyond the drama, I can kind of see the writing there. Or maybe, Rhea wasn't impressed, but maybe Shayna was, because it seems like sometimes Shayna gets kind of bummed out, her character-wise, that there isn't anybody who can measure up to her.
No, I mean, it's there, and it's a storyline that I know we all recognize.
Because if you want to hear some fumbling, Matt, I'm going to hot tag you for the third time. If you're going to fill that fourth spot on Shayna's team, who else would you pick?
And right now it's Shayna, Bianca, and Io.
Yes.
I don't know.
They still have Jessamine and Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir are on the table, but it doesn't look like they're quite in the plans yet for NXT.
Yeah, because if you're talking about filling out that team, I know when we were talking about filling out Rhea's team, I was all high on putting Ember Moon in there, but it would be kind of boring if it ended up being Jessamine or Marina. So I memean, Dakota at least makes it interesting, like the drama of it. I'd probably still sit there and not be as excited as I would be if it was if it was Ember Moon joining Rhea Ripley's team. So what I'd rather see is Baszler's team go up to 5 and have Rhea need to find a 5th. And Dakota Kai is already out, so it's not Dakota Kai. So then, boom, Ember Moon. All right, done. That's how you book it.
You heard it there first. So Matt's just going to add, instead of Dakota, he's going to add 3 people,
Yes.
2 more horsewomen, and then Dakota Kai herself. Matt, I think that we go 6-on-6. So we add Becky Lynch to Rhea's team, and then we add a returning Ronda Rousey to Shayna's team. We just go ham on War Games.
Well, at least mine made sense, damn it.
I think you go 12-on-12. And what you do? No, okay. I think that storyline-wise, it would be really, really intriguing to see Dakota kind of, because I think she's been in that, kind of that Finn Balor bubble where he was, since he'd been a part of, like, under contract from WWE, he'd been a face, and he only very, very recently turned heel. Dakota's kind of been in the same realm. Baby, 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 baby.
Baby, baby, baby,
baby, baby.
That's a thing still.
I think it would be kind of a vote of confidence to kind of see what she could do with that. Because, I don't know, I think her offense is so violent. I think it would work really well in a heel filter.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no. Nobody could do that. I'm just poking holes where I can. It's a thing. I think it's one of those things that when you hear what's going on.
Segment, by the way, we do Matt pokes a hole.
Sure, that's what I do at work all day anyway.
Here he goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that is exciting. But I think the most exciting thing about NXT, and I don't know, arguably the week, right, is the Shmoz at the end of the show.
Man, yeah, it was pretty damn amazing. It had Ciampa and AJ Styles in the same ring, doing battle. It was, the match that you got to hear Matt Riddle get his thunderous ovation for his hot tag. The OC, battling, getting Keith Lee up on their shoulders for the Magic Killer was pretty incredible. Keith Lee doing his usual, 400 pounds a man almost, wrestling like a luchador. And then all hell broke loose. And, Finn Balor comes in. We get the Bullet Club illusion. We get Adam Cole coming in to rain on the parade with a amazing super kick into AJ's, beautifully haired face, ruining a Styles clash. Just chaos left and right. And Matt, I think it's so funny that, we're kind of critical of AEW ending every episode with a schmaz, and now WWE is like, yeah, we could schmaz it up too. Get out there, Cole. It was just chaos. Kicks and suplexes, and you didn't know. The fun part about this is, you know what? This is like mom and dad getting divorced, and you gotta pick a favorite. Who do you want to live with? And I'm just like, I don't know. This is so fun. I'm just so excited. I don't care who wins these matches, honestly. At this point, these are just clashes we've waited so long to see. Now we don't have to wait anymore. They're real. They're on TV. Wins and losses are out there, man. They're out there to be had.
I think it's a good move too to put this on. The pay-per-view that was always considered in the top 4. We've always said it was, if we had to pick one to be removed from the top 4, that it would be Survivor Series. But if you're going to start to put this on a pedestal again, I mean, this is how to do it. They've tried so hard, having like Sting make his debut and having Goldberg out there. But like when you get down to it, the way that you're really going to define that a show means that much to you is doing something like this. Like throwing more money at Sting and Goldberg. Yeah, come on, nobody cares. Because then the winner that night, if I don't know, I'm probably the only person who remembers is Dolph Ziggler. So
I forgot about that. Remember Dolph had to take a nap for like a half an hour?
Yeah, he knocked out the entire Triple H team. He did it all by himself. Everybody thought it was going to be stupid John Cena, but it was Dolph freaking Ziggler. But anyway, this is how you put that pay-per-view back on the map. And last year was cute. And you've been doing like the Brock Lesnar versus a guy. That's fine. But this is it. This is the Survivor Series. Like if you're going to redefine it too and not do those silly Survivor Series matches, which I don't understand why people tie up their hoo-ha in a knot over having a Survivor Series match, because I don't know. Aren't we past that? Just seeing finisher after finisher. It's like a sideshow,
Yeah, I mean, especially because the past couple of years, like whenever Braun gets involved, he eliminates 80% of the field, and I'm never gonna forgive this company for doing that Raw clean sweep. I don't want to hear about the pre-show. That was awful. That was such a bad idea.
Yeah, and I think
I would have left if I was Dean Ambrose too.
I think this is that opportunity. Let's redefine what this can be. It could be so much better. And every fall now turns into NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown for a couple of months. I think that's how you keep people interested in this. It's not about like forfeiting Mondays because Monday Night Football is back out there. It's about finding, writing something that the fans actually want. It's not that hard. And now you've got something to focus on, where you had the Royal Rumble in the winter, the spring is WrestleMania, summer, what do you focus on in the summer? SummerSlam, fall, Survivor Series. Boom.
Yeah, this is their first time including NXT. It makes sense because of how much, funding they're putting behind them, and, getting this Saudi Arabia money can justify them, working with USA, and it's they could have done it earlier, but we got it now. And right now they're just booking the hell out of it, making the NXT roster look strong.
Oh my gosh.
Making the Raw and SmackDown opponents, it feels like they care if they win or lose, that they're like, who are these, young a-holes who are getting in the way? Like, I've already climbed the ladder. Why do I have to listen to these NXT clowns? Like, it's about as close to real animosity as we're going to get right now. And I think it's because people's careers and paychecks are on the line. That's what kind of adds to the drama of it all. So it's really being well done right now.
Yeah, I think if there's anybody that kind of needs to take the step up after the whole I guess just this 1 week of this all going down, and to kind of go along with your point, is like Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I don't know if you saw like their social media after match promo. I mean, they were on the verge of giggling. Like that's the kind of thing you want to get away from. Like they need to get angry. They need to realize that they lost to Rhea Ripley and Tegan Knox because there's probably more money to come out of putting an investment behind them than to put an investment behind Mandy and Sonya. They've been around for a while, and not much has come from it. And right now, this company feel the heat. Everybody on social media is telling them that they're not the best show anymore. So I don't know. I do want to put the capper on here of like, I see people qualifying this as like a desperation move.
No.
Let's
just using all the tools in the toolbox. Like why are we even saving this? Yeah.
We've been asking for this since the show started. Utilize all your assets. If you're going to have Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole go at it on a quarterly basis, I mean, that's what I need to know which company I'm going to sign up for. Like, why blindly support any other company that can't put out the talent of AJ Styles, who just jumps on a Wednesday night to go to NXT. Are you really going to poo-poo it and say, they're just desperate? No! Watch it. Love it. Enjoy it. Embrace it. This is what we wanted. Don't poo-poo it. There's no point in, like, still putting your hand up when we're getting what we want. Love it. Come on.
It's okay to be happy.
I know. What's funny, I always end up being more critical of wrestling fans than of the WWE or of AEW or, Ring of Honor, New Japan. Throw it all out there. I'm always more critical of the wrestling fan because they never want to just enjoy. And, we're even going to talk about AEW in a second. And I'm probably going to bring that up, Mike, and let you know that was like the best AEW Dynamite show so far. And I loved my Wednesday night so much. But it's just, we're always like taking sides. And we keep building this society of walls and barriers. And you have to do so much to earn someone's love. Right. Or there's absolutely nothing you can do because they've dug their feet so far into the ground. They can't even see above the sand at this point. They're just so far buried. They're not realizing that change has been made. Now, Mike, this is early. Everything could come collapsing down next week when Rusev is main eventing and squashes the whole NXT roster. But at this point, that's not happened. We had a great week of wrestling. Just, God. Don't qualify it. Enjoy it. Be happy.
Yeah,
Love
it. The two things that are not super great. One is whatever they're doing with Rusev, because I don't think it's like we can't just have constant war, right? Of NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. Like it's a lot of wrestling, so sometimes you need to
right.
Just kind of put a wrench in there, put a little comedy in there. That's why, Angel Garza came in on NXT last night, and he's a goofball who has rip away pants, so he can put his ding dong out there, and he's gonna fight Lio Rush for the Cruiserweight Championship. So it's you gotta mix it up a little bit. So with Rusev, I get it. They're trying to do something new. I just don't think that it's hitting home for anybody. The other segment that I kind of want, it might be hot tag number 4. And we still got so much to cover, and I want to get away from this, but Matt, what do you think? Because I was actually intrigued. So to kind of lead the witness a little bit, what did you think of Seth Rollins' Triple H promo? Oh
yes, I'm so Monday? Glad. I'm so glad you brought that up because what I wanted to ask you was what you thought was more, what was more likely to happen. Was Dakota Kai joining Shayna or Seth Rollins turning on Raw and helping out NXT? Where 1,000% for me, I hope that happens, and I would pick Seth Rollins helping NXT over Dakota Kai helping Shayna every day of the week. I think that there actually is a story there. Somebody took the time to plot that out. I think that story is genius. And it shows like now you're starting to see like Triple H really wants to put his foot down. Like not Paul Levesque. I'm talking, Triple H the character. Like he's always looking for like that inside so that even there's plan B, right? The plan B. He's looking for plan B right now, where if Undisputed Era starts to crack at the seams, like that's his team. Those are the guys he's putting all his money behind. But if that starts to fail, he's got a plan B, and it would be Seth Rollins. And I love how that comes full circle. I love how Seth Rollins' relationship with Triple H comes full circle. I like how his relationship with NXT would come full circle. And just Seth is dying right now. He loses the Universal title. The story he told about Brock coming over to Raw and like everything he had done erased, gone. He's so right about that. Yeah. If we still cared about Seth the way we cared about him back in January, you would, you'd feel for him. You'd be like, oh my God, everything this guy does, Brock keeps coming back. So all of that mixed together, of course Seth would be angry about it. Of course he wants to get back at what's going on. And at that point, we get an even better NXT show. And while NXT is still trying to fight away AEW, which everybody's favorite discussion with the ratings, it appears NXT is almost overtaken AEW. It's just with it, like it all, I don't know. It's just, it all makes so much sense. Like that would be not only Triple H's way to make sure he wins Survivor Series, but that's also how he's going to make sure he beats Cody, who at every turn has shot arrows or bullets or whatever you want to say at Triple H on every show he's been on. So Triple H, bless him, still yet to mention that Cody Rhodes exists on his show. But man, if that isn't a shot.
I think that Seth had an opportunity on Monday. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he stayed with Raw.
Well, I mean, he's in that situation now, right? Like, he's in Raw.
Well, I don't think he's going to join NXT. I think what they're trying to do is they kind of see that this face character isn't working. So I think they're trying to slowly kind of bring him aboard with, a story that kind of gets him back to his, like the kind of arrogant Seth Rollins that, would win in the first place, and kind of being this pandering voice of the company. I don't think that's really winning people over either.
Well, he's kind of a dick.
It's such a shame because I don't know how they're gonna get the title off Brock again.
Well, Rey Mysterio, duh.
Oh, good Lord. I think at some point you might want to get him, if they're gonna have him. Who knows how fluid these championships are going to be going back and forth with, the Fiend and Brock, who are two people who shouldn't even have their own designated brand. But I think if you're ever going to do Fiend and Rollins again, you are probably just going to have to acknowledge that, whoever goes up against the Fiend at this point is going to have to be a heel. And if you're going to say that Rollins is one of your best guys and he's paid like it, he's featured on, T-shirts and ice cream bars like it, he, is probably going to have to be a bad guy if they get to that point. So I don't know if NXT needs that at this point. That's all.
I mean, it would be, to me, I think you're right. Like, do they need Seth Rollins? No. But I feel like when you're going in for the kill and you want to, like, just end it quick. Like, that's one of the moves. Like, the only other thing I would say that would be even bigger would be if John Cena announced he was, like, a regular on NXT. And I'm not, I'm, John. Yeah, and you guys know we're not John Cena slappies, but I just, like, that would be that move, right? Like, that would get people talking. That would get people switching the channel. There's still, it's like, it's just like in politics where you've got the, you've got your hardcore conservatives and your hardcore liberals. And then if you're a smart person, you're in the middle, always trying to figure out which way to go, like which part makes sense. So like I said earlier, not that I loved AEW this week, but I mean, if you were deciding, am I going to watch AEW and watch them set up for Full Gear and see half these guys that I don't really know, again, like assuming that someone isn't familiar with the indie scene, or am I going to watch AJ Styles crash NXT and go up against Undisputed Era and these guys, I just, to me, it seems like an easy choice. So if you're taking that next step and you're like, well, AJ Styles is here every now and then, and now Seth Rollins is ready to take the throne again and kind of, now I'm going to challenge Adam Cole, blah, blah, blah. I just, there's so many things to it that would make sense storyline wise and to me, and then it would make sense from a competition standpoint. But and you know what? The third thing that would make sense is how much Seth Rollins is struggling to get the fan base on his side, he might want this NXT trip so that he can look like the indie guy again. You know, try and get some of that goodwill back from the fans, because everything he puts out on social media now just gets ripped to shreds. And I know for me, I tweeted out today about my feelings on the Detroit Red Wings making a trade, and I just got completely shit on. And I still feel pretty strongly about my opinion on the trade, but if I could pick to have everybody be on my side or not be on my side, I'd rather the whole world was on my side. So if Seth Rollins thinks he's the man and he tweets about it and everybody comes back at him and says, shut up, you suck, which he doesn't suck, I think he'd rather everybody was like, that's right, Seth, you're the man. You and your wife are a couple of men. Go get them. Like, thumbs up, happy face emoji. You'd want that all the time. So if there was something he could do.
No more dead puppets. I just think that it would look too desperate. It would look like when they pushed the hell out of Roman Reigns and we pushed back and said, nah, we're good. I think if they tried to say you're on NXT now, like the crowd would kind of roll their eyes.
Not if he came in as like a heel.
Like a heel with NXT?
Hell yeah.
I mean, NXT's going to be the conquering heroes. They're the underdogs. I don't think that would work as well.
No, if he went to NXT as a heel.
Oh, just full time.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool. I just don't think he's going to do it full time. I think they want to have him on Raw. So I'm just saying, like, short term Survivor Series, he's probably going to feign joining NXT and then swerve us and turn into meme Seth again.
I don't know why you like being wrong. No,
let's move on, because we haven't even touched AEW, and we gotta make some headway here.
Got a whole match card to go over.
You said this was the greatest Dynamite you've ever seen. It ended with yet another schmaz, but Matt, sometimes schmazes are pretty cool. I like a good schmaz every now and then. Matt, did you like your schmaz on Wednesday?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It was definitely the best schmaz ending of AEW Dynamite's existence. I'd like them to stop, but if they're gonna keep happening, that was my favorite. But no, you know what? Let's throw this out there too. Since now we've talked NXT, we've talked WWE ad nauseum. Let's just throw out. We did throw a poll out to the Brothers of Discussion Faithful on Twitter. We had a 52-48 win. There we go. For NXT on which show had the better schmaz ending. And on Facebook, Mike, it was 81-19. Holy mackerel. All right. Now, Facebook, I think I've said before, there's a lot of WWE over pro wrestling fans. Like, before you're a pro wrestling fan, you're a WWE fan. But on Twitter, I think it's at least close. What do I want to say here? I think the audience is just stronger for an AEW backing. So even at AEW's best schmaz, our audience picked NXT to win. Now, I just want to throw that out there. I took the time to put the poll out there, so I didn't want to ignore it. But that's what happened. But let's just, if we go over it, I'll start it with the Jericho Guevara beating Adam Page and Kenny Omega. That match was pretty fun. I still have the same problems with, if we're going to talk about with the wrestling, I still have the same problems with Adam Page. He just doesn't have it for me. I think he's still he's too doughy, and I know that's very Vince McMahon for me to say, but he's too doughy to be a main event guy, and I think he carries himself with a lot of swagger, but there's just not a lot there. There's a lot of front chest running by Adam Page that just looks kind of dopey to me, especially with all of his lariats. So the more I see that, the more
buckshot lariat, yeah.
the more it just makes me feel like further away from accepting Adam Page. And I mean, the rest of this was just Oh, go ahead.
When he, like last week when he did his cowboy shit promo, and now that's a T-shirt. I don't know if you saw that. You could buy a cowboy shit T-shirt. That's something that helped kind of win him, like me appreciating him a little bit more. But I still don't think he's at the MJF and like for me, Darby Allin. Like those are two guys that I'm like, ooh, I want to see what they're up to. But yeah, I agree. Hangman is an excellent wrestler, but I just don't think he doesn't have the sizzle. I don't think the cowboy shit's really, it's not, jingling my huevos, if you know what I mean.
Well, I will tell you, this crowd went apeshit. I'm always like half
for the
in my
Hangman?
head. They went apeshit for Moxley. But I was going to say, I'm always like half in my head when I'm about to swear because we're not allowed to swear on the hockey podcast. But yeah, they went apeshit for Moxley coming out during this schmoz, which, he's coming out to get Kenny. So that's why Kenny's fighting with Hangman against the Inner Circle, even though he's been kind of distant from that whole storyline. It didn't make that, like, that was where it kind of brought me out of it, where I was like, okay, everybody's just going to come out now at the end. Which I get. You're headed into a pay-per-view show, so it's something.
Yeah, get a little
something every
reminder who's
wrestling
gonna
show
be there.
does.
Yeah.
So it kind of pulled me out a little bit, but then we had Moxley and Kenny facing off as if they both had lightsabers in hands when they were actually just barbed wire, foreign objects.
Yeah.
They come to clash with. But of course, that all ended with LAX jumping in the ring and knocking out Kenny and Moxley. And of course, what was really cool, going back to that idea of like Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler fighting together, then for Kenny and Moxley to get back and fighting each other, they actually took down the Inner Circle together. So you got to see like Moxley is also not a part of this Inner Circle at all. He's just John Moxley, which I thought was a great point to make, to have him define himself that way, and that he is really just about beating the shit out of Kenny Omega. So they had this great taking out LAX, taking out Inner Circle, and then Kenny Omega pointing at Moxley, and then they just go back at it again and fall backstage.
Well, let me throw a hot tag at you. Because you watched this when it was brand new and live, and I've only been watching like highlights and cuts, but there's a think piece. I want to say Cage Side wrote it, that Moxley is already, and they, everybody likes to be hyperbolic in these pieces, but Moxley is already more over at AEW than he ever was at WWE. Now, I know it's hyperbolic, but Matt, the hot tag is there a little bit of smoke to that fire?
I don't even know how to measure that. So I don't like the question, because there's it's the most subjective question and claim I've ever heard.
Okay, well, let's do this. How do you feel like his AEW character and use of said character is preferable to his WWE run?
Again, it's so early. I don't know how we could compare the two, because you could go back to Moxley winning the title and getting multiple main event, like pay-per-view main events, out of the WWE, and he didn't like the way his story was told, but he was still being pushed in the main event and winning the WWE, or whatever it was at the time. I don't think he had the Universal title, but the WWE Championship. So there's a lot to be said there. He's also main eventing as a part of the Shield, and he would even main event non-title matches as a part of the Shield. There's a lot there for Dean Ambrose. There's a lot here for John Moxley. I just think what's more important to John, and you brought it up last week, is let's make sure we care about the pro wrestler, is that he's at his most happy right now. So he's still getting pushed, right? But what matters to John is that he gets to go out there and say fuck. Or probably not fuck, but he gets to say bitch a lot more. So he feels more at home as long as he can say bitch all the time. So I think there's more said for Moxley being happy. Can you tell I'm being a little passive aggressive? But there's a lot more to be said for Moxley and his happiness because he can say bitch than what the push or what the fans ultimately felt in regards to wherever his character was going. But I it's something too that it's a hot take. And right now, obviously everybody's going to read that. And if you're a hardcore AEW fan, you're going to get so hard reading that. And if, you want to take it from someone who's fighting the middle war, between both sides and wants to just see good wrestling, you're probably going to jump on board with that too, because it's the most recent article that's been written about Jon Moxley the night of this crowd erupting when he walks out with a barbed wire, whatever it was. I can't really remember right now. So of course you're going to feel it right then. You're going to say, absolutely, you nailed it. But then couldn't you just turn around and say, the Bullet Club has never been hotter on the WWE than it was Wednesday night? It's like, yeah, okay, that's absolutely correct. Like, you've never been more excited about the possibility of Finn Balor joining the team of AJ Styles and whatever we call the OC at this point. So it's a lot of hyperbole, as you said, being mixed into that. A lot of hot takes, a lot of clickbait. But ultimately, I think we just need to be happy that Jon Moxley is getting over. He's being able to tell a story that he's excited to tell. And, what's most fun is we get to see Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley go at it too, which maybe isn't like a dream match. I know if somebody's saying that right now, I think it's more of like, I'm excited to see this. It's not something that I've always said, I can't wait. Like when he was in WWE, nobody said, I can't wait to see Dean Ambrose fight Kenny Omega. It was, I don't know. There's so many other guys that we'd rather see, but this is still fun.
Yeah, I think to say that he will, that he never hit these peaks in WWE is just nonsense. Because when he was in the final two with Triple H in that Royal Rumble, people were losing their minds to see him, conquer the King of Kings and become the champ. And he had those awesome matches, the 3-ways against the rest of the Shield, his battles with his feuds with AJ Styles. Hyperbole is fun, right? What's fresh is always better than, was a year ago. But I think because Moxley seems happy with, the creativity that he's allowed to have, I think maybe the peaks for him will be more fulfilling. But yeah, it's stupid early to write that article. Irresponsible. Just nonsense. And with that said, I don't know if you wanted to touch on more from Dynamite or kind of dive into what we got going on this Saturday. But just real quick, I wanted to just touch on Jericho's Le Champion vignette because it was just so damn funny. He's one of the funniest wrestlers of all time, one of the best guys on the microphone of all time. And Matt, oh my God, calling himself the Olive Garden breadstick of wrestlers because his talent is limitless is a line I will think about forever. But yeah, he just had all his buddies on there. It was tongue in cheek. It was really funny. And Cody got himself over with a dead serious promo, and Jericho got himself over with a Jericho promo, I guess we'll call it. But yeah, Matt, it did the job because it gets us excited for Saturday.
Yeah, and I know one of the things that we're going to be talking about near the end of December is best match and best promo. It absolutely can't be ignored that Cody probably did just cut the best promo of 2019. Hyperbole be damned on this one, but that you could see the emotion. The only thing I could have done without was the hug with Tony Schiavone. at the end of the promo. I made a joke that nobody liked. But I said, I don't want my play-by-play to be muddied with taking sides. I actually put it more eloquently.
Yeah, so much for that unbiased
there we go.
commentary, play-by-play, huh?
Think of unbiased, right. Jesus. Much better at typing, I guess. Any hoozles, if you haven't watched that promo, go back and watch it. A ton of emotion on Cody, and for a guy that does get his opportunity to shine on the CW every now and then, he does have some pretty good acting chops. Because he really is that emotional when it comes to these promos, or he is a great actor. Either way, I loved that promo, and if you're ignoring it, you aren't giving yourself the opportunity to enjoy pro wrestling / sports entertainment, which is another thing about those two promos, Mike, and this being my favorite AEW Dynamite show. This was such a great show because of all the sports entertainment that was mixed in, not because of the pro wrestling, which we've been honest enough to admit we love. So if you are a diehard AEW fan and you are grinding your teeth so hard there's blood coming out of your gums, just take a second and kind of reflect. Like, that's what sports entertainment is, the difference between sports entertainment and pro wrestling. And I mean, even Dusty Rhodes was in sports entertainment. Like, if we want to define it as such, the pro wrestling is in the ring, and that's how I see it. The sports entertainment is the schmoz. The sports entertainment is the amazing promo by Cody Rhodes. And of course, Mike, we wouldn't even have vignettes this high quality without the WWE and sports entertainment. But that unbelievably playful vignette from Chris Jericho, just beautiful so top to bottom.
Does that mean come Saturday, is that the match you're most looking forward to? I know it is a main event, but you got some options out there. Is that what you're most looking forward to?
Absolutely, because you've also now got this the asterisk on there that if Cody does not win, he never gets another shot at the AEW championship. I absolutely love that.
I didn't even need it, but thank you, Cody.
Right. And this was to him saying, you know what? I told you guys I was going to listen when you tweet at me online. He said, this is me listening. You said it doesn't make sense if you're building a new company to have the two old guys go at it. So if I don't win, I never get another championship shot again. And you've made the argument it would be silly for anybody to say, Cody should not be in this main event. Because you got to build up the old guys first to make it mean something when the young guys win, right?
Yep.
So even with that, Cody's putting this on there. I think it adds so much drama to the match, where before I would have just said, you know what? Jericho's going to win this because Cody's not the guy to beat Chris Jericho. This is going in a completely different direction. And then, of course, you've got the drama behind that statement and the entire audience getting behind Cody and chanting, you deserve it. And then, of course, him tearing up at that moment. Because now it makes you reflect, too. Like, the crowd did a great job in their response to that promo because I reflected on my own, the thought that I had was you've got to build up the younger guys. Yes, you definitely helped me come around on that. But hearing the audience chant, you deserve it, made me think, oh, yeah, that's right. Maybe it's fine that the guy who's trying to battle the WWE, arguably on his own, like, this is really – the Young Bucks will be fine if this fails. This is Cody Rhodes' name, like, attached to this thing. I think the Young Bucks are in a great position because they're fine if it explodes or implodes. But Cody is the guy who really started this whole movement. So if this fails, it obviously hits Cody the hardest. So all that being said, yeah, it's his brand. He's worked so hard to get to this point. He gets a title shot at the second pay-per-view, or third or fourth, whatever you want to say. Yeah, okay, I'm cool with it now. And of course, the drama added to it 1,000%. But we have so much to go through. And I know So I didn't start timing this till we were like at the end of like the NXT conversation, and we're at 40 minutes now. So we could. Somebody listening to this is going to go, "Wow, an idiot! What an idiot! He doesn't know how to count." But we could probably be at over an hour right now. So let's run through Full Gear.
Yeah.
I think with that on there, I don't think Cody wants to run this company for another 40 years and not get another AEW title shot. But it would be so amazing for that to happen in the second pay-per-view, right?
For him to get another title shot?
What?
For him to get another title shot?
For him to never get another one.
Oh, okay.
If the result was Jericho winning, I think that conversation, like that swerve, right? That's way more interesting. That's what I always want is to have those.
What if Cody like goes, because he's kind of been the face of the company, if he goes heel and just says, "Hey, I'm the owner of the company. Yeah, I'm going to give myself another title shot." I don't know.
Yeah,
it's in play.
Yeah.
You know.
No, and I think that's what makes it so much more interesting than him just winning. And then we move forward. Jericho in the inner circle plummet. Cody has the title. Who does he fight after that? You know, maybe MJF turns on him, but come on, that's something we want to play out for like months. We don't want to have that happen in the third pay-per-view. So Jericho wins, retains the AEW championship. That's the only way to do it. We didn't even mention the women's tag championship because, AEW doesn't want you to think about it anyway, since they give you a half a second to watch the match. And of course, Mike, I didn't even know that Emmy and Rhea were going to be going at it for the title till last night. So obviously AEW isn't super focused on this happening. Any hoozles, Rhea and Emmy Sakura are going at it. This is also, all right, I'm mad at AEW for still the way they're booking this women's division. But to just go ahead and pick someone, it's going to be Rio. I don't think now's the time for this belt to start switching.
No, that'd be irresponsible to play hot potato. Like, we got to build somebody up. The only person we really know is Britt Baker, and that's because she's, with Adam Cole. So elevate the whole division. Let's create a monster. As far as like winning, not because Rio's arguably the smallest woman ever. I don't know if she's Alexa Bliss small, but she's a petite lady. But yeah, give her some wins. Give her some wins under the belt.
Especially Emmy got the win too on Dynamite. So that's, it's there.
It guarantees a loss on Saturday.
Yep.
We got 2 tag matches Saturday because we know AEW is all about. Well, it's all about. Oh, excuse me. Well, AEW, it's all about wins and losses. They have Young Bucks in a non-title match because they screwed up and lost in the first round of the tournament. So they're going to battle Santana and Ortiz, who actually have their own tag team name within the inner circle, and it's called like Loud and Proud. It's some goofy. Here, let me pull it up for you, Matt.
Well, it's like the holder card because since LAX isn't going to fly. It would be nice for them to go back to LAX because that's what even while we're talking about this, I still keep throwing that out there. But this kind of feels like it'll be early on in the show, and I think the Young Bucks are going to take this because the inner circle is going to go home with the shiniest prize. So they'll take some losses, and Santana and Ortiz going down to the Young Bucks is going to be one of them.
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to maybe kickstart the show because you know how they bring the energy and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
We've
also got Hangman and Pac, which
yeah
could be amazing as long as the match doesn't end in this weird 2 count that was a 3 count, like Pac and Trent going at it on AEW Dynamite. Huge problem with that match, to be honest. And it's probably good we don't get into it. But if you haven't seen the ending to that match, please go watch it. Tell me what was going on. Why did the ref stop the 3 count? Because
I don't know what the hell that was.
I have no idea. Anyway,
I don't know who screwed it up. Who put a fuck on who? But Because it seemed like the ref was like, you're supposed to kick out. That's usually what's happening. So I don't know if Pac forgot the finish. I don't know if the guy, God, who's he fighting? Why am I having such a brain fart?
Trent.
Yeah, Trent. I don't know if he just had a brain fart and forgot to kick out and like roll into the submission move. But I don't know. It's a tough spot for the ref because, you're told to book it one way and the wrestlers aren't participating. So what you're supposed to do is put a fuck on them and just do the 3 count.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun that we almost had a double fuck on me for people involved with AEW. I'm sad we missed out on that. The ref chickened out. But anyway, Pac versus Paige. Matt, talk about a responsibility. Pac has got to try and get Paige over for you. The bastard is going to have to eat 4 or 5, maybe 6 buckshot lariats to get Matt to love the Hangman.
That's what I don't want. I'm sick of the fucking lariats. God damn it. Pac better win this match because he's been built up. He's been getting sneaky wins. Like, why do you give him sneaky wins? That's because of the wins and losses matter. So he's getting built up. Paige, he's on a losing streak. Keep him down. He's not doing it for me. Pac all the way.
Yeah, I don't know how many wins he's actually going to get after he no-showed AEW in the summer, but I think the responsible choice is to find a way to get Paige over. I don't know if that means a win. I don't know if he loses and then does some cowboy shit, but he's got to come out of this match looking stronger. Because I don't know. I've talked to people who like AEW, and they think that Paige gets, big ovations. And I'm like, does he though? I mean, like he rode a horse to the ring. I think people like the horse. I think the horse is like over.
I don't know if it's like his theme song, but he has like the most dull, quiet entrance. And part of it has to be the theme song is what I'm kind of hinting at.
I can't hear it. It's almost like it needs those like a ricochet. Pew!
Yeah, that's what it's missing.
Something like that to wake us up.
It needs like a door creaking open. Oh, that was cute.
Yeah.
So we're going. I'm going Pac on that. You're going Hangman.
I think he has to get over. My God, come on. How many more of these pay-per-views before this guy gets over? I think the main match I want to save till last. So, Matt, we got the AEW Tag Team Championship. SCU, the champs, against the Lucha Bros and the Private Party. Matt, best for business. Who should go over?
Well, how awesome is it that they did the tournament and then had a bronze medal match last night? Yeah. I think that is like the coolest thing that AEW has done pro wrestling wise. I was talking earlier about sports entertainment getting that show over last night, and that's why that show was so much fun. Pro wrestling wise, bronze medal match to make this a triple threat for the title. Gene, yes, loved it. Best thing to do for this title, I think Lucha Bros are winning.
When I watched the finals of that tournament, like Lucha Bros deserved it. Goodness gracious. Who's the best contemporary for me to really pick? I gotta say it's like watching God, there isn't a better example. Like watching the Lucha Bros, they're far and away like the most cohesive, like well-oiled machine on that show. No,
you meant Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, that's what I was reaching for.
Yeah. No, I got you. I got you, bro.
I love Otis and Tucky, but I was not reaching for them. I was thinking maybe New Day, but you know what, Matt? Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, like that kind of cohesive. Just
not Kyle O'Reilly, Roddy Strong.
No, I can't do it. No.
All right, but
I mean, I love him. God,
make your point. Make your point.
I want Roddy and Kyle. I'm sorry, Bob. I'm sorry. Roddy won me over, okay?
Oh, my God.
When he did that ridiculous triple threat spot where 2 guys are on the ropes and he's just running by, slapping his own leg and slapping them on the chest, it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It looked like when a horse runs by you and slaps you in the face with its tail. It was just the funniest thing I've ever seen. For this match, Private Party's got no chance. Lucha Bros, I think they're the best tag team, but the danger in giving them the win again, Matt, we know the Bros have it. We know that the Young Bucks, on that promotion have it. We got to prove that there's another team. I think SCU, much like Rio, needs to win on Saturday.
Yeah, and you know what? You're probably right on that, because that's why Private Party's really in this. Because Lucha Bros aren't going down twice to SCU, because SCU already won the titles, and Lucha Bros immediately stood up and were contesting the 3 count, just to let you know that they weren't actually hurt or anything like that. So I mean, they've gone quite a distance to make sure that the Lucha Bros still look strong, but that SCU can carry themselves as a champion. So you're probably nailing it, and Private Party is only in this to take that loss. I still like that they're in there, but you sold me. I'm on board.
Well,
SCU.
I think kind of in the same vein as the match I'm most excited to see. Yeah, is Moxley and Omega. Before we get into that match, real quick, 1, 2, 3. We're looking at 6 matches for Saturday.
Woo!
I think. Can I just say thank you that this just looks like a tight card, that we don't need, buy-in battle royals and 12 on 12 matches. Let's just 5, 6 matches. That's all you need. It's just give me 6 great matches. That's gonna make my wallet feel happier. Matt, I hope you agree with that. If not, too bad. We're gonna talk Omega and Moxley. Can I just say that we've been in you and I personally have been in the WWE bubble since we were kids.
WW.
We have not gotten a lot of Kenny Omega matches, in our memory repertoire. And I feel like I never see this guy win.
Correct.
I feel like he's always helping to put somebody over.
So how does that come into play for you in this being an unsanctioned lights out match where technically
it smells like another Omega loss? This smells like Moxley's, this is his bread and butter.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're going to get...
Quick, I brought it up at work, and I said, so they're going to fight a lights out match? I don't know if they're just not going to pay the DTE bills for that match or what. And this guy goes, oh, no, that means they're going to knock each other's lights out. Oh,
Zing!
Thank you.
You know what? That's better than him going, oh, no, that's part of the story. They're just turning the lights out for the story. I like that he said they're going to knock each other's lights out, because if it went the other way, I probably would have lost my shit. But
who fought in the empty arena? Was that Rock and Mankind?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's the Super Bowl? Yeah.
I like Moxley too in this. Poor Kenny. But he's doing the job. He's doing the job we just talked about Daniel Bryan doing, that John Cena did. Kenny Omega's a made man, and he did not join this company to just become an ultra super megastar. He's there to help everybody else grow, because this company isn't going to grow with just one guy winning all the matches. So Kenny is doing the right thing here. Does Moxley / Ambrose, who we already know exists, does he really need this? Maybe not, but I think it at least makes sense to say Moxley's going to get the win over the guy who's helping run this company. He's that important. If you want to say that storyline inside AEW, or if you want to say that storyline from all of us that know way too much about the business, either way, it makes sense that Moxley gets the win in AEW, and in this, it's just him kind of getting accepted. And I hate to put it this way, but it's like their own inner circle. That's what's going on. So that I think that's why that's so important.
Well, number 6 hot tag, Matt. This is the match I'm most excited about, because I think it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be Moxley with the leash off. And Omega is just the I don't know, like an A+ showman in sports entertainment. Matt, what weapon is going to end this match?
I'd like to see a barbed wire shovel that Jon Moxley has to hold the end of the shovel with the barbed wire, and then he buries Kenny Omega. I think that would be really cool.
Wow. I'm going to go with the Lights Out theme. I think that
a lightsaber.
Moxley...
We're coming back to lightsaber. I like it.
Maybe. I think Moxley is going to
get a fleshlight.
Electrocute Omega with a car battery and literally give him a lobotomy. So I think that his lights are going to be out. I think that's how this match ends. Moxley gets the 1, 2, 3 using a car battery.
I want you to have that so bad, but I'm going to change my answer.
Okay. What do you got?
He's going to beat Kenny Omega with a ketchup and mustard bottle.
And an ode to his old Dean Ambrose days.
Yes. With Kenny Omega screaming on the ground, "My eyes! My eyes!"
Little fresh,
he doesn't need to
little fresh Hines. Yep.
Yeah.
Little Hines in the eye. Yeah.
So that's AEW Full Gear. If we could recap real quick, I am taking Chris Jericho. Which order did we do this in? I guess I'll go Chris Jericho, Pac, the Young Bucks. We really put this out of order. Rio. I changed my answer to SCU. And then Jon Moxley.
Matt, I'm going the Hangman, Young Bucks.
See?
Give me Moxley. Give me Cody. He owns the company. He's going to book himself to win.
Oh, my God.
Vince Russo's going to come out. See, that's why they booked these shows are bad. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan. And then I think Rio and SCU triumph over evil. You heard it here first. Why this bullshit with Hulk Hogan? All right.
And I think the last thing, we can't end the show, Mike, without at least mentioning the wrestlers being held up in Saudi Arabia and how scary this is. That when you think about the WWE was not getting paid by Saudi Arabia, and then all of a sudden the wrestlers couldn't get off of an airplane. And also wrestlers feeling like they were left behind by Vince McMahon, who jumped on a plane without them and left without them. And the final thought is we can't ignore, Mike, as you keep stating over the last few episodes, let's focus on the wrestlers first. The wrestlers also weren't getting paid themselves because of this. They should not take the fall because they they took money from, or, quote unquote, took money because they didn't necessarily get it until halfway through Crown Jewel, I guess is the story. But man, we keep getting closer. We love this past week of wrestling, but let's not forget that this happened. Let's keep it in the back of our minds, because when this shit really does start to go wrong, that's when we drop WWE. And the WWE announcing that they're going to have a partnership with Saudi Arabia till 2027 is all this silly game with trying to outthink the stock market. So when you do an announcement like that, your stock price always goes up, and the WWE stock price just tanked a week ago. So they come out with an announcement that we all already knew, just so their stock price can go back up. So this last week was great. This is my final thought for the show. Mike, you can feel free to jump on and then we'll sign off. But this is shit. This is real shit. You did business with Saudi Arabia that we all said don't do that because it's blood money. Don't be surprised that you're getting fucked by it. And also stop trying to trick the stock market and just take free money for a little bit. Focus on what your business is.
Last week we ended with Jordan Miles. Don't support the company, support the talent. And 2 weeks in a row we have to say that, and we aren't saying it for good reasons. That's absolutely embarrassing. I don't know what kind of trouble those guys would be in to actually make it more public, their frustrations. We, at the very least, we know that there's some cockamamie story about Rollins doing a speech vaguely, about the topic that, he says never happened. It's embarrassing. So again, before you start, before you plunk more money down on this company, I would think about, these past 2 weeks, among other weeks.
Right.
Before you give WWE more of your hard-earned money. So instead, spend it on Saturday because we have a hot, tasty pay-per-view from AEW. AEW. I'm ready for Saturday. Man, we're going to be there live tweeting it as always, getting in the Facebook live discussion group. It's going to be a blast.
And with that, also find us on Twitter at BOD Podcast. On Instagram is brothers_of_discussion for all the wonderful memes I've been putting together. It seems like you guys like it. We did post the podcast to Facebook. You have a full video. You can watch it on Facebook. We're going to do that again this week. So let us know if you are enjoying that or if you're like, no, I'm listening to it on a podcast app. So I don't know what the hell you assholes are doing. Tell us that if that's the case. Trying to expand the show, damn it. Anyway, check all that out. Like our headliner videos and share them. And of course, like I said, we're going to have a pinned tweet for the Wrestling Podcast Awards. So go on there and vote for us. We really appreciate it. And if you like Red Wings hockey, we are at BOD Hockey as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in and enjoy, as my brother said, AEW Dynamite on Saturday. Bye. Bye.